Hola, amigos. Let's talk about how we compare people and things in Spanish. So, when you're comparing people or things, you are saying things like better than, worse than, but more often someone's taller than, shorter than, funnier than, cooler than, cuter than. I mean, lots of good ideas there. So, an example sentence could be if I wanted to say, Senora Crystal is smarter than Mr. O'Neill, how would I do that? How would I say that extremely true sentence? Well, let's find out. So, first and foremost, something that you need to know we don't really use ERs in Spanish. Isn't that kind of weird? So we don't say taller than, we actually say more tall than. We don't say cuter than, we say more cute than. And we don't say funnier than, although I'm not even sure if that's real in English, but we don't say that. We say more funny than. So the following terms are going to come in handy when you're comparing two things. The word for more, that's the word más. The word for less, you know this from time, is the word menos. The word than is K, but check that out. No accent mark. Now we're going to be focusing on these today, but if you're comparing things and they are the same, so Mr. O'Neill is as funny as, you would use tan comico como, or tan, and then whatever adjective you want, and then como. Again, when something else is equal as much as, then that also uses tanto como. And again, that's a comparison of equality, as much as. So Miss Crystal talks as much as my grandma. Me and your grandma must be big talkers. But those two bottom ones are equality. We're going to be focusing on the top three today. Another thing that you need to know is if you use an adjective to compare things, you make sure it agrees with the first thing in the sentence. Now, let me show you an example of that. Sandy is shorter than SpongeBob. Okay, step one. Who is the first person in the sentence? Sandy, that's right. Okay, you're right. And then, furthermore, is Sandy a boy or a girl? Well, she's a girl. So that must change that adjective short. Let's see it written out. Now, let's back up for a second. Can we say shorter? No, we have to say more short than. Okay, so one step at a time. Sandy's the first person, so let's say her name. Sandy in Espanol. How do you say the word is? Ace. Now, how do I say the word more? Más. Now, this is the adjective. That word is bajo. But if you want to make it fit with Sandy, who's listed first, then we're going to have to say, what did you say? You're going to have to say baja. Now, what's the word for than? K with no accent mark, SpongeBob. Sandy es más baja que SpongeBob. That's how you say that in Spanish. Haha. All right, let's do some more examples. Mr. Cunningham is more athletic than Mr. Tackett. Okay, whether you think that's true or not, I think that would be a very great competition right there. But it would start with Senor Cunningham. Now, what's the word for is? Ace, Mas, Atletico, K, Senor Tackett. Now, remember that we put L in law in front of senor and senora, but they don't really mean anything. So don't worry if you didn't put that in there. All right, another teacher comparison. Miss Tata is shorter than Mr. Doherty. Well, first off, don't forget that we can't really say shorter than. We have to say more short than. So let's go. Senorita Tata, Ace, Mas, Baja, K, El Senor Doherty. Ayo. All right, one more. Mr. Lord is less organized than Miss Hazlitt. All right. We are not using the word more. We're going to use less. So let's build it up one word at a time. Senor Lord, Ace. What's the word for less? Oh, menos. Menos organizado que la señora Hazlitt. All right. We got all that? Okay. Parte dos coming next week. Part two coming next week. Saying things like better, worse, older, younger. But this week, we can make these kinds of comparisons. Woohoo!